Story 1. The Substitute. Have you ever looked at a teacher and felt like something just wasn't right? What if the person standing in front of the class wasn't who they said they were? This story will make you question the people you trust behind the classroom door. Stay till the end, because the truth isn't what it seems. This happened in a small town in Ohio, in a high school known for being quiet and uneventful. One cold February morning, a substitute teacher showed up for the 10th grade algebra class. He introduced himself as Mr. Adams, claimed he was filling in for Mrs. Keller, who had called in sick. Nothing seemed strange. He had the teacher ID, the lesson plan, and even took attendance. He was calm, maybe too calm, and rarely spoke unless he had to. Around 1:30 p.m., just before the final bell, the school's PA system suddenly buzzed, "Attention, this is a lockdown. This is not a drill." Mr. Adams immediately went to the door, shut off the lights, and told the students to huddle under their desks. Standard protocol. But then, he walked to the door again, and just stood there staring through the narrow window. He wasn't blinking. He wasn't moving. Just watching. Then, without a word, he unlocked the door, stepped outside, and closed it behind him. The door locked automatically. The class was now trapped inside. The students panicked. Some cried. Others tried to call 911, but no one had a signal. 10 agonizing minutes passed. Then 15. Finally, the door burst open. 2 officers entered with their guns drawn, followed by the real Mr. Adams, older, thinner, visibly confused. He had never come to school that day. In fact, he had retired last year. Security footage showed the substitute walking into the school, but no record of him signing in, and no one ever saw him leave. To this day, they don't know who he was. And worse, his face didn't match anyone in the school's employment database. Story 2. The Footsteps in the Gym. When a lockdown happens during school hours, there's a clear procedure. But what happens when it happens late in the day? When almost no one is around? What happens when the threat is already inside and it knows you're hiding? This happened to a high school basketball team in Texas. It was a Friday evening practice. Just 5 players, their coach, and a janitor mopping the floors. Suddenly, the PA system echoed throughout the empty hallways. Lockdown. Lockdown. This is not a drill. At first they thought it was a mistake, but the coach didn't take chances. He told the boys to follow him, and they ran to the equipment storage room connected to the gym. It was dark, narrow, filled with gear, and barely had space for all of them. The coach turned off his phone light and whispered, "Stay silent." Moments later, the gym doors creaked open. Heavy, deliberate footsteps echoed across the hardwood. 1, 2, slow and steady. Not running. Just walking, like they were waiting for someone to panic. Then, a loud bang against the storage room door, and a whisper, "I know you're in there." One player, Jordan, almost screamed, but the coach clamped his hand over his mouth. No one moved. No one breathed. The footsteps continued around the gym for minutes that felt like hours. Then suddenly, silence. When the police arrived, they swept the building. The security guard at the front said no one had entered the building in the past hour. The only people inside were the team and the janitor. But when they checked the footage, there was a 10-minute gap of static, right when the footsteps happened. The most chilling part, when they opened the gym's front door, they found a single muddy boot print just outside the storage room. Story 3. The girl in the hallway. During a lockdown, you're told not to open the door for anyone, no matter what. But what if the person asking to be let in is someone you know? Someone who isn't supposed to be there anymore? Stay with me. This one gives people chills every time. At a middle school in Oregon, a lockdown was announced during first period. This is a lockdown. All students and staff, please follow lockdown procedures immediately. Mrs. Carter's 6th grade class moved quickly. Lights off, doors locked, students hidden. About 5 minutes into the lockdown, they heard soft sobbing outside in the hallway. It was a girl crying. And then a voice. Please, I don't want to be alone. Let me in. Please. Mrs. Carter moved toward the door. But one of her students, Emma, whispered, Wait. I know that voice. That's Jenny. Mrs. Carter froze. Jenny had died 2 weeks ago in a car crash. She was a 7th grader who had been loved by everyone. But the voice kept crying. Louder. More desperate. Please let me in. It's cold. I'm scared. One brave student, Leo, crawled toward the door and peeked under the crack. His face went pale. He whispered, There's no one there. Just shadows, and a sound that didn't match the voice. A sort of guttural clicking, like an animal's throat. Finally the voice stopped. The crying stopped. Dead silence. When the police gave the all clear, they unlocked the door and entered the hallway. Nothing. No signs of anyone. But back inside the classroom, the students noticed something new. On the whiteboard, which had been blank before lockdown, were 4 words, written in childlike handwriting. You almost let me in.